Well, here's what we're going to do. Because I totally forgot to push the record button. But what I'd like to do is just quickly, I'm going to bring your website up, but I want you to I wanted to introduce you to my audience, as well as to educate us a little bit about, the purpose, the mission, the vision of Aegis Formulas, and why you decided to, build a product line whenever you're a successful clinic and you were busy in practice, and what, sparked you to want to go into the nutrient industry and put up with all the regulations and stuff and build a top quality tiered product.
Well, yeah. So I was in practice as a functional medicine doctor. And then right before COVID happened, about 3 months before COVID happened, I went to work for a company, a nutritional company, and really helped. I brought my concept that I developed called foundational medicine, which I just recently wrote a book on called Foundational Wellness, but it's all the work you do prior to treatment. So I call it like foundational medicine is the precursor to functional medicine. It's getting the field ready. The farmer doesn't go out and throw seeds, right? They go get the field ready first. And so it's all that pre-work you do, like detox and, addressing nutritional deficiencies and pulling toxins out, and you have to, and increasing cellular energy. And so when I left that company, and then decided to start my own company, the one thing I started with in practice is I hated giving patients more than 5 products at a time. I just felt like it was too overwhelming, and I felt like compliance just dropped through the floor. So I wanted to create solutions. I just want to be another supplement company. We're a solutions-based company. So when there's, for example, we have our Tudka Max product, most companies will have a liver product and a gallbladder product. Well, as you know, physiologically, they work together. And so for me, I'm like, well, let's create a product where we can combine those. So now it's just one product. Saves the patient money. They have to take less products and still have great efficacy with the treatment. And so that's what we're trying to do, is trying to create solutions where we can combine products. We can make practicing easier for practitioners and make it more affordable and less comprehensive for patients. And selfishly, like, I don't practice anymore, but I create these products as if I were in practice. So I'm like, most of our products are not capsules. We have 2 strips, which is like
let's talk about these 2 strips. What the heck, dude? Who would have thunk we could grab hold of basically a sticker, put it at the top of our mouth, and clear our sinuses or calm our bodies? Let's start with this Calm Relief product. Did you see that over there? Did it pop up?
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us about how did you even come up with the idea to use dissolvable strips, and what about this works so well and so quickly?
Well, first off, whenever technically you can't claim anything when it comes to oral absorption, but we all know anything that absorbs in your mouth
works, right? And
anything that goes in your mouth that absorbs in your mouth, they're going to absorb at a higher rate. So if I take a regular supplement, you're going to absorb. This is just the data. If you take a regular supplement, most supplements that you take, capsules, will absorb somewhere between 20 and 40%. Now with the strip, and you put it on your tongue, it absorbs straight into the bloodstream. You bypass the GI. Now you're looking at anywhere from 80 to 90% absorption of that same thing, which does a couple of things. One, you get greater absorption, which means better efficacy of the product. You can have a lesser amount of ingredient and still have have a higher absorption rate, which in turn also makes the product more affordable because you don't have to put as much ingredient, because you're getting way better absorption. And so with this product, these are both 2 trademarked ingredients. One comes from the mango leaf, dynamite. The other one comes from the kanna plant, which is a South African plant, which they've used for, the tribes down there have used for a very long time. These 2 ingredients have been clinically proven to decrease anxiety and stress within 10, 15 minutes. It also, it's been clinically proven to increase mental acuity as well as performance. So I have people that are stressed out, or people with anxiety or whatever, they'll take this, and in 10 minutes, it just calms their nervous system. I also have people that are like me, maybe a little more squirrel brain, and they'll take it and it kind of really helps them to focus almost. And I don't want to say it, almost like natural ADD, like remedy. Right. But a lot of what I've seen a lot of now is I have athletes that are taking it before game because it calms the nerves and it increases their mental focus. And then I'm also having students take this before taking tests.
Yeah.
And so it's been a great solution.
So I'll tell you just already, one of the hardest things for me as a clinician over the years is getting products into kids at school because they can't take this stuff. And, it fits in their pocket. They peel it open, stick it in their mouth. It's gone. It's not, they're not taking a tablet, a drug, a pill. Yeah. It looks like gum, looks like a Listerine patch.
Yeah. It's like a Listerine strip.
And that essentially seems to be working. And right before 30 minutes before an exam, or somebody upsets them and they got to get reprogrammed and dialed in for the next class, the afternoon or whatever. This has been like really remarkable to see the speed at which it works. And so I too have seen, great shifts with it. Never would I, thought to be using the mango leaf for an anti-stress, nutrient. But at the same time, it's always amazing to me to see that in all culture, in all areas of the world, God always provides several remedies for whatever antidote is needed for the cause of change that they've had in their body physiologically. So if they got stung by something, there'll be 3 to 5 to 7 remedies in the local region. And so being able to pull on some of this technology from around the world brings another layer of benefit to these people. And for easy administration, man, it goes on your tongue, press it to the roof of the mouth, it dissolves right in. I like it a lot.
Well, and here's the thing, like Zembrin, for example, this has been traditionally used by the San, or I think it's pronounced the Khoikhoi people in South Africa for centuries. And what they did is they typically dried and chewed it in, and that really helped them with a number of things. It enhances their mood elevation, stress relief, enhancing social connection, calming fears and hunger during these long hunting trips. And so we're trying to bring to market this kind of ingredient that was used and has been used for centuries orally, not intestinally. And so the crazy thing is that it actually it'll blow you away on some of the science behind it in how it works. But Zembrin specifically works as a natural SSRI. That's what the studies show.
Which means serotonin reuptake inhibitor, for those that don't know what a SSRI is.
Yeah, so it's a pretty remarkable thing. And then, we try to keep it to a minimum, so it's just those 2 ingredients, so we can get enough of the ingredient in that little strip. Whereas with our other strip, the clear, we call it clear.
I'm going to pull that one up real quick. And, just on that, just last little thing on that calm, having the calm available and having that more serotonin present in the brain. Remember, guys, serotonin is a joy hormone for the brain. And so if you're feeling less than, this product will definitely calm your nerves, but it also add the stage. Just see if we can add that.
Yeah, I always think of for those that have watched Duck Dynasty, happy. It's like
happy. Who wants to be happy? Somebody tell us how happy you want to be. So So this is the calm, the clear.
Yep. So this is the clear, and this has 8,000 IUs of vitamin D. I'm a huge believer in vitamin D, vitamin C. A lot of research. We are going to update this formula, just so I've had a number of people ask that it's fine the way it is, but I've had so many people, especially on the functional medicine side, ask that we're going to go ahead on the next run, which will be here this next month. We're going to be adding K2 to this as well. But this is really an immune support strip. Everybody knows that vitamin D it helps boost your immune system. What most people aren't familiar with is the GMI, which is the Ganoderma microsporum protein, which comes from a medicinal mushroom, a specific part of it. And it has over 40 years of research out of the University of Taiwan of immune support. And I don't know how viral this will go, so I can't really probably even talk about what all the studies are on, but all the studies in efficacy was on supporting immune system, supporting autoimmunity. The C word is the one that had the most research, but we don't have enough in there for those ones, for the big autoimmunity and the C word. But we do have enough in there is for immune boosting and for allergy support. So you take this product, you'll get allergy relief, like seasonal allergy relief, aside from immune support, within 15 minutes. I'm talking scratchy eyes, watering eyes, 15 minutes, and non-drowsy, which is big because most of the over-the-counter stuff that actually works for allergies also makes you tired.
Yeah.
I know that because, I used to have allergies back before I got into the natural space. And that's the only thing that ever worked for me was these over-the-counter products. And then I'm falling asleep. I can't stay awake during the day. So this is a great one. I take this daily just as a daily immune support.
And how many? So of the Calm AF, and I have a quick story of the Calm and of the Clear AF. How many can you take?
The Calm you can take in the Calm. I just let people know you're gonna get the effect of that, and it's gonna stay like the half-life for about 3 hours. So you can take 2, 3, 4 of those in a day, no problem. Matter of fact, Jason Dean, at his wife's conference, and that dude took like 4 in like an hour. He's like, "Oh, these are good. I was like, keep trying them." And so I mean,
he said he went for like a run, and then he was still like real energized, and just got up and like smoked a great talk. And so even though was it the Calm he took, or was it the Clear?
It was the Calm.
Yeah. So that leads into
I said that mental acuity and mental focus. That's really, aside from calming the nervous system, it really increases mental acuity and focus.
Yeah. So let me say
the Clear, just so you know, just to be clear on this, I usually suggest, like, I'm a big vitamin D guy, so I'm like 2 a day of this, because you're going to hit that spot around that 15,000 IU spot. It's going to be a little more, but a daily, which I mean, a lot of the research shows that 15,000 IUs of vitamin D daily can pretty much help stave off just about anything and keep that immune system extremely robust.
I'm definitely a big advocate of DK, making sure that people's D levels are checked regularly, making sure we do stuff during the winter. But let me tell you a quick story about this Calm product. Okay. So last night, as a matter of fact, we're at Bible study. And so I pull out the Calm and I start shoveling it around to people. Try this, try this, try this. And, because it's Thursday night and everybody's it's towards the end of the week, right? Everybody's in good spirits. Nobody was stressed out. But one of the guys that comes, he's a rocket scientist. And the last time I used a calming product that stimulated extra serotonin in the brain and just kind of like cooled his jets, he acted like funny, like he was hilarious, like it loosened him up, right? And you can imagine, rocket scientist, he's very like focused on what he does, right? And he's a rocket scientist, so he's very detailed. I mean, just all this. And so we're doing Bible study. And so this guy like knows a ton about the scriptures, and listening to him talk so fun. Well, we gave him one of these strips, and the next thing I know, like he is like making Bible jokes and we are just rolling. And that's I'm like, funny. And speaking from somebody that's so uptight and says they're not funny, you have completely like loosened up. And he goes, and he doesn't like realize he's just completely calm in a what we call a parasympathetic rest and digest space, where I can only imagine if I was going in to take a test and I was uptight, or if I was going in for a big meeting and I was uptight, if I could use a product to calm my nerves and allow me to go in, dialed in, focused, how much better delivery, how much better impact would I have, in messaging? And how much more creative would you be in study and memorizing, or, writing a book or creating new products? So this might be your product to take if you need, to loosen some people up, or if you need to create some new stuff, or write you a new book. I mean, who knows what you need to be doing, brother?
So one thing to be clear on this too, because I've had people like, oh, is it going to make me fall asleep? No, it doesn't do that. It doesn't make you tired. It calms the nervous system. It increases mental focus. Now, I did have a couple of people come and tell me they've really been struggling sleeping. They hadn't really slept well. Actually, it was at the conference that I met you at. Said I haven't slept well in 3 days because I go to lay down, and my brain won't shut off. My brain just keeps spinning, and I can't. I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about this, and I can't get my brain to shut off. They said I took the Calm strip, and what it did is it didn't make me tired. They said what it did was it shut my brain. It let my brain shut down, and then I was able to actually get full REM sleep that night, which was the first time said in almost a week to be able to get that. So,
well, think about it. You're at a hotel, you traveled, you got exposed to EMFs. Well, I mean, I don't know, maybe got dehydrated, maybe you even ate some out to eat food. All those things are stressors, right, that your body's dealing with. And so being able to shift the body back into that rest and digest state, that parasympathetic healing and repair place, that's a super, super cool. It's a great deal, dude. I mean, these two products alone are going to put you on the map. And, I am very excited. I didn't actually know you had a book. Tell us about this book, Foundational Wellness, the simple system that ends doctor dependency forever. Guys, This is awesome.
Send me your address and I'll send you one after. But so in 2016, I developed this concept because I was, as a functional medicine doctor, you go through doing all the right things. You're ordering all these extensive blood panels. You're trying to get to the root cause. And that's one patient that wasn't getting better. And I'm like, but I'm doing the same thing I do with all my other patients. I'm doing all these things. Her symptoms, everything are very similar to my other patients because, Hashimoto patients tend to have very similar symptoms. A lot of them have very similar blood work. And I finally realized I'm missing something. Like I'm just chasing blood markers. And that's when I developed the concept foundational medicine because I'm like, I'm just going straight into treating people.
Yeah.
And a farmer doesn't, like I said, the farmer analogy, a farmer doesn't just walk out to the field and start throwing seeds or they'll get an unpredictable harvest. They go prepare the field first, then they plant the seeds. And that's when I developed this concept called foundational medicine, which I call foundational wellness, which is the precursor to functional medicine. Before we go into a treatment phase, I would spend 4 months with patients and I would go just getting the field. I just working on the body because my philosophy is this. All disease is caused by one thing, organ dysfunction. And all organ dysfunction is caused by one of three things. Nutritional deficiencies, because if we don't have the right nutrition, we can't complete pathways, right? Like you need iodine to create thyroid hormone, right? So nutritional deficiencies or toxic burdens or a combination of both. And when I say toxins, a lot of people just think of like heavy metals and parasites. Stress is what I consider an emotional toxin because what happens if and when I start talking about emotional toxins, that's when people go, okay, Mr. Woo-woo doc. And I'm like, no. What do we know physiologically happens to the body when we're stressed out? It affects the function of your adrenals, right?
Blood, your muscles get all fight or flight. Your brain goes into thinking back into responsive mammalian pathways. Absolutely, it has.
So toxins are not just metals and parasites and molds. It's also stress and trauma and and PTSD, things that got to be realized in order for your organs to function the way that they're designed. God designed our body. It's amazing. When our organs are functioning at an optimal level, it's designed to filter stuff out, push it out on its own without all these medicines and products, right? The problem is we're in a very toxic world now, so we need help. Our organs need help. So the whole concept of this book is kind of teaching what I call the first responders of the home or the mom how to, because most homes are, who's the gatekeeper of some of the most important things for health, which is food and drinks. It's the mom, right? So when moms understand the importance of nutrition and avoiding foods and ultra-processed foods that contain toxins, well, that's right there. That's the big part of the battle. So this goes through a lot of stories showing examples of people that had all sorts of ailments. They were misdiagnosed, and it turned out that what they really had was mold toxicity, or they have this deficiency or whatnot. And so it really just kind of...
I like what you said about there's one thing that causes all dis-ease, left unchecked disease, and that's organ dysfunction. And then underneath that, that's a cool concept. Mine's a little different, but I love, because I agree with 100% that if you are malnourished, you're in trouble. And if you're eating processed fake food, the best you'll ever have is processed make-believe health, like I like to say. And then if you have a combination of those, it's like exponential dysfunction to that organ system. And that could be brain, the hormones, or your liver, your kidneys, your lymph system. Anywhere that's a weak link in the chain will begin to deteriorate very quickly. And so I think that people really have to appreciate, and I don't think they do, because, look, you can see the balding on your tires. You can see the dirt in your air filter. You cannot see the grime, the fatty liver disease in your liver or your kidneys. And that is a big, big deal that, we're bringing to the table, and why you're out in the field, building products for clinicians to take to their patient base and serve them better. So, Doc, I think it's awesome.
Well, and when people, to really illustrate it, I mean, like earlier, we were talking about, to me, two of the most important organs is having good gut function and good liver function. And it's like, Absolutely. Why is that? Well, the gut's the second brain. The gut controls 98% of serotonin and dopamine and some other neurotransmitters are created in the gut, right? So in order to create neurotransmitters, we have to have a healthy gut. The majority of your immune cells are found in the gut. The majority of the inflammation in the body is controlled by the gut. Thyroid hormone, other hormones convert in the gut. And then we go over to the liver, and the liver has over 500, controls over 500 different processes in the body. We store vitamins. We create our cholesterol there. We store blood sugar. It helps to manage blood sugar. It helps their detox. It helps so many things. So if those organs aren't functioning properly because they're not getting the proper nutrition, then all these other, it's a cascade effect. Then you start having dysfunction. So I used to be, before I developed this concept, I used to be one of the docs that was like, inflammation is a cause of all disease.
Right.
And then I realized, no, it's not.
Part of the symptoms.
Organ dysfunction is the cause of all disease. And organ dysfunction gone unchecked leads to inflammation in the body. Which
inflammation, I always tell people, is basically fire that's just smoking. And so you're seeing the remnant of damage.
Exactly. And then inflammation going unchecked turns into chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation then it turns into disease, right? So your body does have a buffer. You don't just go from I'm healthy to sick one day. It's a process over time, dysfunction, inflammation, chronic inflammation. And then it's finally like, all right, you're not paying attention. Now you're host, and now you're dealing with the disease pattern, right? And so that was the whole concept of the book. I brought that concept to a company called Cellular Biosciences. The foundational protocol they have, that's my protocol I developed there. And this concept of foundational medicine is the concept that I developed. And then I left. I went to actually work for doTERRA as their vice president of nutritional education for a year, and brought this concept. That's when I renamed it Foundational Wellness, because those people were more direct to consumer, as opposed to where at Cellcore I was training doctors. Here I was training the layperson.
Yeah.
Same concept. I brought Foundational Wellness to doTERRA. Now it's one of the main things that they teach with their nutrition, because awesome. it makes sense. Well, the thing is, it makes sense, and hopefully, my goal is to empower people, because I feel like you can talk a lot about COVID and the goods, the bad, there's no good, but all the things about COVID. But there is one good thing that came out of COVID. People just stopped blindly trusting their doctors.
They started asking better questions.
And they start taking their health in their own hands, and they're starting to research for themselves, which is what we should do, right? Yeah. And so I wanted to provide this book to provide a little bit of a blueprint to help empower these moms with information to know how to take care of the health of their children. Because I know as a young parent, I wasn't a doctor as a young parent. I remember the first time my oldest kid was sick. My mom was a big natural medicine since the 70s and 80s. First thing I'm doing, Mom, what do we do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know.
You probably said peppermint oil or castor oil packs.
There's a lot of like lavender oil on the bottom of the feed. And the first time my daughter had a UTI, and we put lavender oil on the bottom of her feet and on her wrists, and the next day it was gone. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, my mom, all this stuff that my mom's been saying to us for years and years, like it makes sense. Medicine is new. these, natural medicine has been around for thousands of years. And somehow in the last 150 years, it's been demonized to be weird, when the reality of it is the shift is moving. And here soon, people are going to look at people going, "Ooh, you're taking medicine?"
Right.
Like,
They're going to say, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And they're going to say, well, what do you do? Like I had the same conversation with a lady yesterday, a mom yesterday, that she was asking the question, like, what do I need to take my kid to a pediatrician? And I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. Like, what are you hoping? What's your outcome if you did? Because the reality is, if you are planning on using antibiotics, steroids, or different types of shots and whatnot as a tool, well then, yeah, I don't offer that in my office. But if you're going to learn to trust the body, which I hope you do, then you begin to realize the body wants to heal. And anything your body can develop, it can undevelop. And I have this one last thought on just that kind of root cause medicine. I got this from one of my mentors, Michael Dobbins, back in the day. And he said, 2000 BC, just to give people an idea, like, Western medicine is new. 2000